Our fourth contestant is Ashton Botts. Too much, Ashton Botts.
This is too much. I can't handle this. I don't know where to start. Contest master, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, these are the thoughts that were racing through my mind about 3 years ago as I sat on my neighbor's front porch, helplessly watching my home melt, crackle, and burn under the summer sun. My boyfriend David and I had just enjoyed a wonderful Father's Day afternoon watching a baseball game with family. We returned home to find fire trucks zooming down the road, our neighbors swarming the sidewalk, and a home, our home, engulfed in flames. I watched in utter disbelief as firefighters shattered windows, busted down doors, and showered the roof with gallons and gallons of water. Everything is gone. We don't have shoes. We don't have clothes. How are we going to go back to work? Where are we going to live? We're homeless. After what felt like hours, the fire was finally extinguished, and we were able to go inside and see what used to be our home. We were relieved to find that while some things were lost, many of our essentials were still intact. But then the fire chief said, "We cannot secure the house overnight, so you'll need to take everything of value with you. Anything you leave behind won't be here tomorrow." What? Anything we leave behind won't be here tomorrow? In that moment, any relief I felt immediately vanished. Our charred home would certainly be looted overnight. By this time, the sun was beginning to set, and the power had been turned off to the house. Soon it would be completely dark, and we had to get everything out. And we had to do it immediately. My head swirled with thoughts of flames, of homelessness, and now of looting. I felt frozen, paralyzed, unable to solve this seemingly insurmountable problem in front of me. I turned to David, desperate for guidance. "This is too much. I can't handle this. I don't know where to start." "Neither do I," he said. But then he handed me a trash bag and said, "I want you to take this bag, fill it with everything you can, and put it in a car. And when you're done, I want you to take another bag and fill it with everything you can and put it in a car. Can you do that?" Yes. This was a small task, and while it wasn't going to solve my entire situation, it was something I could achieve in that moment. And I did. Meanwhile, our friends and our family members and neighbors rushed to our aid, and they too grabbed a bag, filled it with everything they could, and put it in a car. One by one, cars began filling up with our soot-covered clothing, photo albums, childhood keepsakes. Even David's 5-year-old niece helped by eating all of the leftover ice cream in our now thawing freezer. Within a few hours, the house was empty. And while we still had a very long way to go, we had achieved a huge first step. Over the next few weeks, and with the help of our friends, many of whom were fellow Toastmasters, we sifted through our belongings. We washed and washed again and washed again everything that we had saved. We visited a dozen new apartments and moved into the home we share today. And while I still breathe a sigh of relief when I approach my home and find it not engulfed in flames, things have generally returned to normal. When I think back on that time now, I know I would never have overcome that terrible night had I tried to solve the problem all at once. I felt the weight of no longer having a home, of not knowing where we would live or how we would save our belongings. And in my effort to solve the entire problem at once, I failed to solve any individual part of the problem. It was too much. I couldn't handle it. I didn't know where to start. But when I was able to focus on that one thing that was right in front of me, it was then that I was able to overcome that terrible night. Packing a trash bag full of clothes wasn't going to help me find a new home, but it was a necessary first step in that direction, one I didn't fully recognize until much later. Fellow Toastmasters, what are the hardships or the goals in your life that you think are too much or that you can't handle? Have you failed before even beginning because you don't know where to start? Well, now it's your turn, fellow Toastmasters, to pick up a bag, fill it up, and put it in a car. Do you want to run a marathon? Take out those running shoes, lace them up, and jog. Nope, just walk for 1 mile. Do you want to mend an estranged friendship? Pick up the phone, dial that friend's number, and have one phone conversation. Do you want to compete at the World Championship of Public Speaking? Then raise your hand, stand up, and give a 1-minute table topic speech. Fellow Toastmasters, eventually you will learn that with each small step, the seemingly unattainable will begin to become achievable. Fellow Toastmasters, it's never too much. We can handle it, and we start today, one step at a time. Contest Master.